Welcome to the Bay Insider with Amanda and Ying, where we talk about history, lifestyle, and real estate in the San Francisco Bay Area. Hello, and welcome to the Bay Insider's look at the 10 San Francisco real estate districts. So as we've been going through doing, market updates and conversations about real estate and neighborhoods, we realized that a lot of people don't really know about the 10 real estate San Francisco districts. So there's different districts throughout San Francisco for political reasons, for all kinds of different citywide purposes. But the real estate districts are important to know if you're going to be using them as a reference, which we do in our conversation. So that's why we made this. We want people to understand.
So one thing I want to add is it's very interesting because as realtors, we talk in terms of districts, and which is different from election district. What people are thinking election district, no, this is completely different. So we do our search based on district numbers. So if you're in the market to look at houses, to think about houses, to dream about houses, you need to understand the districts.
Yeah, and this map here, this is the official San Francisco Association of Realtors map that shows the different districts. As you can see, we have one which is northwest, two is
southwest,
medium west.
We don't remember the
west, yeah, and then we have, we'll see that on the next slide.
Yeah, they all have names.
Yeah, but I wanted to give everybody kind of a visual of the city, because this is the shape of the city, and you can kind of see where these different districts are. So downtown core is District 8. This is the Marina. Anyways, we'll go over them in more detail in the next slides, but that's kind of the grand picture of the districts.
It's
of the
kind
city.
of counterclockwise,
yes,
right?
Counterclockwise, like a cinnamon roll, though, so it has a couple.
It has a couple curves.
Yeah.
Okay, that's why it's cinnamon roll. Okay.
So here you go. This is the list of those districts. We kind of just have them named by the general direction geographically that they are, so you can kind of
so it's a central west district.
Central west. That's what I said. West.
Yeah, no, you were right. But I just go with numbers. I don't remember directions. I just know they're numbers.
Right. But for those people who are listening who are new to this, the number probably doesn't mean a whole lot. So that's why we're doing it.
Yep.
So here we have District 1, the Northwest. And you can see the listed out neighborhoods here, and we're going to go show a little map after this so you can kind of see where they fall.
Can you go back a little bit? So I want to talk about that a little bit. So for each district, it has a number of neighborhoods. And I think most of you who live in San Francisco or get to know San Francisco probably know we have many, many different neighborhoods. And neighborhoods are grouped into districts. So this is the District 1. We have 7 neighborhoods. Some other districts have many more, and you will see that. But that's just an overall picture of how everything's organized.
And there are also some neighborhoods that are new neighborhoods that people have been naming, and those aren't necessarily in these. So, I mean, there are, I don't know how many San Francisco neighborhoods that you could list out, but you'll know that this gives us plenty of material for episodes for our neighborhood series in the future.
If you haven't listened to them, you should. You absolutely should go listen and check out some of the episodes we have published.
And I will also use this moment to put out there, if there's a neighborhood that we have not yet covered when you're listening to this, and you know somebody or you are somebody who has a great passion for that neighborhood or understanding of it, we would love to hear from you about potentially having you on as a guest to talk about your neighborhood. So moving right along. So here's the map of the Northwest District 1. And you can see it's pretty much on a grid. It's one of the easier neighborhoods to navigate directionally, right?
Yeah, absolutely. They're all generally rectangles. So that's relatively easy. You have a central Richmond in the middle, inner Richmond actually on the right, and outer Richmond on the left. Then the D is Lake Street. It's not very large actually. Then, Sea Cliff next to it,
Very special.
very small, but
Some of the most expensive housing in the city for sure.
Yeah, great water view, great bridge view. It's just wonderful. Some houses are back on the beach, Baker Beach and China Beach, whatnot.
Yeah, my favorite beach, China Beach.
China Beach, right? Your dad used to swim there, or
I just went swimming there a couple weeks ago.
Yeah.
All right. So then we have Jordan Park, Laurel Heights area, Lone Mountain. So this is the University of San Francisco. So that's kind of a snapshot of the Northwest districts.
Yeah.
Then we move on to the Central West that we were just talking about. And each of these where we have a picture, this is a picture from that neighborhood. So this is the Inner Sunset, by the way.
Okay. I was just looking at it, like, where is this?
Yeah. So these I think we move right on to the map. And you can see this is also a pretty easy grid-like area to go through.
Yeah. District 2 actually started with Golden Gate Heights. That's where I live.
Which is not a grid.
It's not great. You see that it's like a hand or person. I don't know how you look at it. Anyway, but the center of that is a Grandview Park. And then if you go right above that, that's Inner Sunset. And we have published episode, we're about to publish episode just on Inner Sunset. And moving on the left, you have a Central Sunset and then Outer Sunset. The divider is Sunset Boulevard, which makes a lot of sense, right? And then going down Outer Park side and Park side and the Inner Park side. Inner Park side is pretty much, I would say, we sort of either group that with Inner Sunset or West Portal. That's how I feel about them. How about you?
Yeah, I think so. I mean, I think definitely Inner Parkside is very different feel than Central and Outer Parkside. And looking at these districts all together, the Parkside districts of Central and Outer are more kind of residential, sleepier kind of feel to them. The Sunset areas, you get a little bit more action and activity going on. And then, yeah, the Golden Gate Heights and Inner Parkside kind of meld over to some of the District 4 areas as well.
Yeah, and Inner Sunset is where majority of commercial, commercial businesses are.
Yeah.
That's where all the restaurants and entertainments are.
Yep. Then you go to District 3, which is the Southwest District. And these are some neighborhoods in the city where, so you see this is the El Rey Theater that you can see in the picture there. Over on Ocean Avenue, which they're still in the process of rehabilitating. But very cool neighborhood where you can get single family homes in a more affordable price point, comparatively speaking, to the rest of the city. And here's how it's kind of laid out. You've got Lake Merced to the west, the Stonestown Galleria area over here with the shops. They've done so much new stuff there. And then this whole Merced Manor, Pine Lake Park area, this is all kind of near Lowell High School.
Yeah. A couple of things I want to add over here is like in San Francisco, there are not too many detached homes. But in District 3, in areas like Lakeshore and Merced Manor, you actually have detached homes.
Yeah, so these areas here. And then the more affordable homes that you're going to find are going to be in the Ingleside, Ocean View, Merced area. Some of these houses up at the top of the hill here have incredible views.
Absolutely.
So really kind of neat area. There's some good parks over here. And then you've got the BART station that's not too far. So it's pretty accessible. And Ocean Avenue is a big kind of commercial spot for there. Then we have District 4, which is where we are in West Portal. This picture is from Forest Hill and Twin Peaks West. So as we talk about when we talk about West Portal, the Twin Peaks Tunnel that comes out here. And then you have a bunch of these different neighborhoods. And you'll see when we go to the map on the next page that a lot of these are very, very small neighborhoods and not on a grid.
Yeah, it's even hard to read, really.
So I wonder if we can't make it bigger on here, can we?
Probably not.
So you have to get your glasses out or your magnifying glass to see some of these.
we probably should start with A, just, so make it easier. So 4A is the Balboa Terrace.
Here.
Yeah, that's
Off of
residential.
Ocean.
Yeah, off Ocean, single family neighborhood with detached homes. And right next to it is San Francisco Wood. Obviously, that's a very special neighborhood in San Francisco. It almost feel like, I don't know, Savannah, Georgia or something, at
Yeah,
least to
definitely
me.
detached homes with lots of large lots, right? Very
Yeah.
grand, large square footage,
Yeah.
lots of greenery, lots of front yards.
It's absolutely beautiful. It just doesn't feel like San Francisco.
One of the residential parks of San Francisco.
Right.
But it is 4G, it is not 4B. So if you wanted to go to 4B, if you wanted to go in order, you'd be in Diamond Heights.
Yeah, well, let's stay on this lower
Okay.
corner first. I know we're like off order, off track a little bit, but Ingleside Terrace, that's on the other side of Ocean. It's also a residential park, or was a residential park. It has a very well designed look and feel to it. Single family homes, upscale, detached. It's considered historical A neighborhood, meaning like it maintained its character really well throughout the years, right?
Yeah, and it's, if you see the shape of it, it's very interesting because it's it used to be a horse track, racetrack.
Yeah.
And in the center of the neighborhood, they have a sundial,
That's
the
right.
Sundial Park area. So it's a really cool neighborhood, very different.
Yeah. So the next few, Mount Davidson Manor, Westwood Park, I'll put Westwood Highland in that category too. Those a few are again single family neighborhoods with lots of hills, great
Very
view,
residential.
very residential, right? A mixture of very fancy homes and more down to earth starter homes. Just a mix.
Yeah,
of
Westwood Park it has also a very interesting kind of
architecture
and shape of geography of what they're doing there. And it's a little bit more flat than some of these other areas where you get up into the hills with Westwood Highlands and Monterey Heights.
Yeah, Monterey Heights, it's very similar to San Francisco Wood, but it's more, I will say it has a better view because it's more uphill. Wouldn't you say that?
For the Monterey Heights?
Yeah, Monterey,
Yeah.
along Monterey Boulevard, it had great views, lots of
Yeah, more hilly. Yeah.
castle looked like
Yeah.
houses.
Yeah, and then Sherwood Forest, that's like very steep up in that area.
Beautiful
And tiny.
view, large lots, and great ocean view.
Yeah, and then I guess we'll go West Portal, which is where we are now. It's definitely the commercial area for most of this side of District 4. Lots of shops, lots of businesses, lots of transportation. Then you have Forest Hill, which is another area that is really beautiful homes, nice vantage points, lots of front yards.
I would describe Forest Hill like Berkeley Hills. The look and feel is very much like Berkeley Hills, lots of greens and just large, architecturally interesting homes.
Yeah, and then Forest Hill Extension is kind of carries that towards Portola. And so you get a little bit more modest homes in that area, but you still have really nice residential feel. You're getting closer to kind of the big foggy area of Portola and O'Shaughnessy, which is kind of like the pinnacle of fog. And then Midtown Terrace, which is all those houses up by Twin Peaks that have a big fog line. Forest Knolls up there again, kind of hillside properties. Little bit more recent construction, I think, in Forest Knolls area. Then we move around the side here. You've got Miraloma Park. This is another very residential area, also very foggy, but lovely homes. And Diamond Heights, which was really I would say, last large swath neighborhood that was developed in San Francisco, really in the 70s. So that's
mid-century, actually a lot of mid-century buildings in the area.
And it's surrounding you've got some Eichlers up there and stuff. And it's surrounding the Glen Canyon area. And then the last one is the Sunnyside neighborhood, which is Glen Park adjacent, and they've got more of a grid feel to those streets, and all of the streets are named, not all of them, but most of them going east-west are in alphabetical order.
It's
So you keep
also,
track of them that way.
I would say Sunnyside is also more low key and more affordable than other part of District 4.
Yeah, definitely. Absolutely. Agree. Okay, so moving right along to District 5, and this picture is from one of my favorite places on earth, the Glen Canyon in Glen Park. But these are very central. That's why we call it central.
Central, right in the middle of the map.
Neighborhoods.
If you look at map of San Francisco, this is the middle.
Yeah, which is funny because people used to always think Glen Park was way so far out, but there it is, part of the central district. And yes, it is the most out there area of the central neighborhoods, but connected by the BART station. So it's, very accessible and accessible to the South Bay as well. But you have a lot of windy roads that kind of go down to the canyon. It's kind of like a big bowl. Lovely houses and a nice little village atmosphere. District 5C is Noe Valley, and that's where I grew up. Pretty much grid-ish, but it's got a little bit of variation, more so than out in the avenues. Really nice houses, a lot of kind of combination of renovated and old time.
Before we move forward, I want to add one thing. The difference between District 4 and District 5 is the weather is different. First of all, District 4 tend to be more foggy. District 5, that's where the sun comes in. That's why people like District 5. But in terms of houses, District 4, you get a lot of detached single-family homes, where District 5 is mostly attached. So, it's kind of a different.
So would you say more like 20s, 30s, 40s in District 4 kind of homes, and then District 5 is more like turn of the century to early 1900s?
Tighter. You have to get used to a tighter living arrangement.
Yes, absolutely. And with regard to the weather, as you were talking about, Twin Peaks is like where the fog comes over the hillside. So I grew up on 25th Street, and from the backyard we could just watch the fog coming over the hills, and it was totally sunny. Yeah,
the poor people.
It's really nice. And then Eureka Valley, Dolores Heights, also kind of known as the Castro District, for some people who might be more familiar with that. Mission Dolores,
Dolores Park,
Dolores Park,
right next to the Mission,
bordering the Mission. Yep, self-explanatory there. DuBose Triangle, which is indeed in the shape of a triangle.
Yeah,
and
that's a triangle.
Yeah, I really like DuBose Triangle. For people who don't depend on a car, it's a great location.
It's so central, so easy,
so central. Corona Heights, that's a little bit more residential, right up on the hill, and you've got all of the nice views in that area. Same with Buena Vista, Ashbury Heights, overlooking the Haight District.
Beautiful houses over there. Buena Vista has some beautiful houses.
Yeah, and that's Clarendon Heights. Okay, same sort of thing. A little bit more residential, hillside properties. Cole Valley and Parnassus Heights, really great area on Cole Street. They have a wonderful kind of business area with lots of shops and restaurants and Judah access. UCSF, right, is right there too. So that's a lot of people who live there.
And Kezar, right next to it.
And Kezar. And the Haight Ashbury, which we have right there. So that kind of describes the central, high level on the central neighborhoods. Moving on to District 6, Central North. So this is like butting up towards downtown. You're getting more density, right? You're getting bigger apartment buildings. Lots of activity. This is Alamo Park, I believe.
Definitely a lot more multi-unit buildings over here, apartment buildings, less single-family homes at this point.
And actually, what did I say? That's Alamo Square, right? Yeah. Okay. Sorry. I thought I misspoke, but I didn't. Okay. So then, so North Panhandle. I really love District 6. There's so much activity and things going on. It's, Divisadero is kind of like a big beating heartbeat through the neighborhood. Same with Fillmore Street, right? So you've got lots of businesses there, a lot of little parks here and there. Hayes Valley, that's, that's a neighborhood that is a really interesting neighborhood. It used to be really seedy, and it's changed over the years. You still have kind of the clash of that kind of stuff going on in that neighborhood, but there's some really upscale shops on Hayes, and they've done a lot of
yeah.
stuff to the
lots of changes, and plus it's right next door to the Opera House and Symphony and all that. So for someone who is into shows and culture, that's a great place.
Yep, absolutely.
And I was going to just talk about Japantown a little bit.
Oh yeah,
Japantown is also a big part of it. Lower Pack Heights, I guess that's between Western Addition and Lower Pack Heights.
right.
It's a great neighborhood, great food. It's just lovely place to be.
Yeah, and then you have Lower Pack Heights, which has tons of shops, and Anza Vista. That's kind of right by the Kaiser Permanente and the University of San Francisco. So you've got a lot of people who work in that area who live there as well. Yeah. But definitely a lot of action. And then District 7, which may have the fewest neighborhoods, right?
North, it's just 4. Wow, that's the shortest list we've seen so far.
Yeah. So these are very, as I say, Tony neighborhoods, right? So you've got the Marina, which has some incredible houses all throughout there. It is a bit iffy on the earthquake situation.
I was going to say,
on liquefaction. So you want to
other than
no,
blocks.
That's true. That's true. And then Cow Hollow is
the divider is Lombard, and Cow Hollow is not liquefaction as far as I know. It's mostly solid ground.
Yes, most of it. I think there might be a little bit, but regardless. Then you have Pacific Heights, which of course is like the pinnacle of
San Francisco.
Old San Francisco money. Yeah. So you get those incredible views at the top of the hill looking down towards the waterfront. Gorgeous houses,
all the
Plaza
mansions.
Park, Lafayette Park.
Yeah,
it's pretty incredible.
Lovely neighborhood.
And Presidio Heights,
which is, in my mind, is actually better than Pack Heights because you're right next to the Presidio. You got the same view. It's quieter. It's more single family homes rather than Pack Heights. You still get quite a bit of condos and apartments.
It's just harder to get to the center of the city.
Correct.
But sometimes that can be a good thing.
Yeah.
And then you have the Presidio Terrace, which is a very
gated,
like a gated neighborhood with some incredibly amazing homes that you have there.
One thing about San Francisco is there's so many houses with beautiful views.
Did you hear that story about the people who bought the public land within the Presidio Terrace?
I don't think they got it.
That was an interesting one. You can Google it yourself.
Yeah.
Okay, moving on. So District 8 Northeast, this is the downtown neighborhood, right? Obviously, this is our Transamerica Pyramid here. And so you've got a lot of commercial stuff that's going on in District 8 for sure, and a lot of super high density. So a lot of apartment buildings. You're not going to find as many single family homes in these areas. So Tenderloin, definitely an area that has had some storied past and troubled present.
Definitely. Civic Center right next to it is also I will say it's better now, but it definitely has some issues.
Yeah, it's where our city hall is, starting at Market Street, and then you go up from there. But yeah, a lot of big apartment buildings. Downtown core, that's your Union Square, your all of your shops and commercial properties and apartment buildings.
Nob Hill. I would say this area is probably the oldest of San Francisco, don't you think?
Russian Hill, Nob Hill,
right?
It feels very old San Francisco,
right?
Especially the further north.
So when you watch movies, a lot of times they're shot right over here with all the studios, people going down the slope. Cable car is generally this area. Yeah,
quintessential. And then you have North Beach, which is so much fun. Every once in a while, I like to just go wander around in North Beach. They've got great bars and restaurants, and Washington Square Park is beautiful. And then of course you can walk right up to Coit Tower, which is in Telegraph Hill, and they've got all of the old murals in there, the Diego Rivera and stuff. And the view from Coit Tower is just incredible.
Telegraph Hill.
Yeah, Telegraph Hill, also another very old San Francisco neighborhood.
Yeah.
Financial District, Barbary Coast, going to the Embarcadero.
Yeah.
And then the northern waterfront.
Yeah, that's this waterfront with the piers, right?
And then you have that big apartment building. That's the co-op that kind of
the North Point
lords over the views from there are incredible. But when that was originally erected, there was a lot of
I can totally
fighting about that.
I can totally see that. It doesn't make a whole lot of sense, right?
Yeah, it's an interesting one. Okay. Then we have District 9, Central East, and here we are on the side of Bernal Hill, you and I, and then looking out towards like Potrero, right?
I guess so.
Yeah, that's where that is.
Okay.
So these neighborhoods, these are the sunniest neighborhoods, not despite the picture that I've chosen for this.
It definitely lots of sun. Don't worry about the sun over there. It's totally fine.
This is Suntown, San Francisco, right?
Yeah.
So these again are pretty small. You can't really read them.
Neither can I.
So you got South Beach up here at the top. This is a lot of the new construction, luxury.
No,
Yerba Buena. So you've got,
all the fancy
the
condos.
Lumina.
All the fancy condos are here.
South of Market is not so fancy. You've got, some of the runover from the north side of Market Street, and there's, there are some really cool buildings that were built, newer construction, kind of modern apartment buildings, condos that you can find in there, but it is a little bit, I would say
questionable.
Yeah, I mean, it's just a seedier type of area.
Yeah.
But there are bargains to be found there, and it's really block by block to see how you feel about that area, and it may clean up over time and then be a great investment. And then so that's more south of Market. You've got Mission Bay, which has had a huge explosion, right?
It's all brand new. Everything there's new. It's completely like different city. When you go to Mission Bay, you don't know you're in San Francisco.
No, I used to work, well, I guess it was South Beach, or I don't know, Second and Brannan.
That's South Beach.
Yeah, so I used to work in South Beach, but we'd walk down here, and that was in, I don't know, 2000, the year 2000. And nothing was there. I mean, they were just finishing the ballpark. And
oh my gosh.
So now it's like a completely different world.
Yeah, it's all the new condo buildings, apartment buildings, and UCSF, and
then then you go down here and you have the Warrior Stadium, the AT&T Park. This is still called AT&T Park. Baseball. Anyway, so you got the Giants, you've got the Warriors, so for people who are big sports fans, these newer construction places that are down here are a great option for like pied-à-terre, or just to live there so you can walk to the games and walk home.
Oh yeah, or people like city living, like this elevator building, doorman building, with lots of amenities like swimming pool and whatnot,
and high HOAs.
Well, that's a downside, but but that's what you get.
Some of these places that have like a dog walker on site. I mean, there's it's a different type of city living.
Oh, absolutely.
So down to Dog Patch. I love Dog Patch. I was just there the other day and took some pictures for whenever we do that neighborhood. But there's some great businesses. It feels young and fresh and new, and they're doing that whole Pier 70 rehabilitation down there, which is really cool. And then you have Potrero Hill, which is kind of
odd, right? In this district, kind of.
It's like a combo of residential and commercial industrial.
Right.
But they have great weather, good views. For a lot of people who want to get to downtown, it's incredibly central for them.
South Bay. A lot of people want to live there. So
or go down to the South Bay and be accessible to both situations. And then the Intermission, of course. Which is, just a great kind of cultural mishmash of all kinds of stuff. And then you have the BART that runs right through the Mission District. So very easy to get anywhere through there. And then last but not least, one of my favorite neighborhoods where I lived for 14 years, Bernal Heights, which we'll do an episode on that and talk about all the different neighborhoods within Bernal Heights, because it's like 5 different neighborhoods in one.
Yes, we can break it down further.
But yeah, the nice hill, and then the Bernal Hill is kind of like the centerpiece that divides the north from the south, and you've got amazing views there. So that is District 9. It's got a lot going on. Ready to move on to the last district?
Yeah, let's move.
All right, and then last but not least, we have District 10, and I believe this is from the Excelsior. This picture that we have here in the as you can see downtown in the distance there, Excelsior has some great views. But these are the neighborhoods, right? So this is the most southeast section of San Francisco.
Yeah.
And I would say the most affordable and the least cash deals is what we found
Yes.
from our other market research we were doing there.
Yeah.
So you've got Bayview District,
which is most of it, right?
Which is it's a large swath and proportion of District 10, and it goes out to the waterfront. There's been a lot of rejuvenation in the neighborhood, but also there's some dilapidation going on. So it's kind of a combination of those things. But some great restaurants, really cool area near Candlestick Point. They've done like
beautiful park, right?
Yeah, they've done the park. You can go biking, walking, all waterfront. It's pretty nice. Silver Terrace over here is a little bit more windy, kind of, it's a small area. It's between Portola. Portola's right here. It's right on the other side of Portola. So Portola neighborhood here is a really sunny neighborhood. It's got San Bruno Avenue is the business district for them. And you've got a nice park in there that has really incredible facilities. And it's definitely a more affordable neighborhood. I would say one of probably the best bargains in San Francisco for single family homes, if you're looking for a sunny neighborhood, especially. Yeah. Excelsior, kind of along the same lines as Portola. And you've got the grid streets there. They've all got different country names. And your main business district there is Mission. Yeah. And you've got Mission Terrace on the other side, which is kind of sandwiched in by the freeway and Alamany.
It's actually quite beautiful there.
Mission Terrace? Yeah. Yeah.
Beautiful
Yeah, there's some great houses, really nice houses, Mediterranean style, things like that. And then Outer Mission, you are starting to get further away in the city, a little bit further out. But again, a lot of single family homes that can be quite
starter
a good
homes.
deal.
Starter homes, I would say.
Yeah. And Crocker Amazon is a really interesting neighborhood. They have this kind of interesting way that the streets are laid out. Yeah. And I would say in Crocker Amazon, it's block to block. Some of the blocks in Crocker Amazon are gorgeous and they have amazing houses. And, they border this area in Daly City.
Southern Hills.
Southern Hills, yeah. And the Southern Hills are right over there. But at any rate, there's some really great houses, and you should definitely take a look at them if you're interested in an affordable single family home. So that, and Little Hollywood, this is an interesting neighborhood. Yeah. It's right on the other side of Visitation Valley, which we didn't talk about, which is kind of a hillside neighborhood.
Just another one. One thing I do want to add is Hunters Point. So there have been some major development or planned major development in Hunters Point in San Francisco because we're trying to add affordable housing. So there are certain areas in the city is dedicated for that. Hunters Point is one of them. So there are a lot of more affordable new construction, condos, townhouses.
Like really nice newer construction.
Absolutely. I think the challenge we have been experiencing is it's kind of hard to get there. And
the cleanup.
Toxic cleanup.
Yes.
How do you phrase that? So I think people have hesitation of how clean.
Because old military stuff.
Exactly. So the area really did not quite take off as someone had hoped for at one point.
Yeah. Yeah, but there's some interesting properties out there to look at, especially if you're looking for new construction on a budget.
Yeah,
that is the place to go for sure.
absolutely.
And then the Little Hollywood is just this little interesting neighborhood that's kind of tucked in by the dump. Quite honestly,
It's tiny.
it's a tiny neighborhood, but it has some pretty cool houses there. So it's really an interesting neighborhood that a lot of people have no idea it even exists.
It's like 5 blocks.
Yeah. So as you can see, I mean, there are a lot of neighborhoods in San Francisco. We kind of breezed through it all as fast as we could here. So we'll, drill back down into those neighborhoods as time goes on. And again, if you have any questions about any of the neighborhoods or you want to participate in a conversation about your favorite neighborhood, reach out to us.
Let us know.
All right. Thanks so much for being with us today, and have a good one.
Bye.
Bye.